Welcome to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Mariah and Steph. I'm just here so I won't get fined. What's up, Steph? Happy Two Goat Thursday. How you doing?
She didn't even tell me she was gonna do that, so I'm over here all confused as to what's going on. But that's a perfect way to start a show, in my opinion.
Chat, what's up? Happy Two Goat Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope you've had a great start to your week, almost finished. We're just doing the same old shit as 49er fans every single day, I feel like. Wake up, check the news, look at breaking news about Brandon Aiyuk. That's been the same thing said for since we lost the Super Bowl. And, it's just exhausting stuff. I'm tired. Like, we're about to play the Jets soon, so soon. And we're still dealing with this shit. Like, two guys of our starting squad MIA. Who fucking knows what's happening? Like, I'm tired. I'm so tired. We hadn't heard from Pretty Ricky the dog for 6 days, and today he breaks his silence. What do you think that means? Because he posted about some smoke. Did you see his video he posted?
I did, and we do a little screen share so people know what we're talking about. But
let's share it. So you guys know Pretty Ricky the dog. If you don't know, we talk about him a lot on the show. That he's always putting out all this cryptic stuff. He's still stuck by Brandon Aiyuk is going to the Steelers. That's, what he's gone from. And he's been kind of quiet. He's been going, like, he'll post something and then he'll disappear off the timeline for, almost a week. And then he'll come back with something all of a sudden. So like I said, we hadn't heard from him in about 6 days. And just a little while ago, he posted this video that says white smoke means new pope. I don't know, Steph. What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I mean, like you said, he's been very cryptic. Remember, guys, Ricky has been the one that throughout all this has been convinced that Brandon Aiyuk would get traded. So, and I'm seeing a lot of people responding to this tweet like, oh my God, Ricky, like he's finally going to get his deal, right? He's signed. But like, let's not forget that Ricky for much of this offseason has been pushing or talking about a trade. So does this mean he's getting traded? Because that's the first thing that I thought. Because when I'm thinking Ricky, I'm thinking trade, right?
Yeah.
Of Brandon Aiyuk. But regardless, it seems I don't want to get my hopes up either. Because like we've been through this before now, where it seems like someone has news or like someone is cryptic and gives us a little piece of information, like teases something, and then nothing happens. Like like you said it, Ricky has done this before, and then he just disappears into the abyss. He's not the only one. So I'm not holding my breath with this one.
Usually he'll start off, it's like he posts something cryptic, and then all of a sudden, Joe Schmo from Yadi Yadi Insiders Pittsburgh will post something, and then like all of a sudden we'll have this chain reaction of Joe Schmoes posting stuff that nobody even knows if it's true, if it's false. And up until this point, it's all been bullshit because still nothing's been done. So
just on that, like I can see Ricky post a tweet like this, and I can go on Twitter and post a gif of Brandon Aiyuk, and everyone's gonna go crazy and all this stuff and think I know something.
Yeah,
nobody knows shit. Let's just start there. Starting in there, nobody knows shit.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it was funny that he just silenced all this time. We finally get to hear from Kyle and John yesterday, and now today Ricky's back. Yesterday the big thing coming out was Brandon Aiyuk's gonna practice, which is I always thought was kind of crazy because I've never thought it would make sense or that Brandon Aiyuk would ever get on that practice field or playing field on the field, unless they have come to terms and decided, okay, we're not doing this. You're going to play on your 5th-year option, and either we'll see what happens, yada yada, down the road. Yet this is like a come to terms thing on both sides, right? Or he's gets a new deal with us, or he's traded. Like, I don't see him, none of, oh, I don't have a new contract, but I'm going to get out there and risk injury. And then for sure, I'm not going to get a new contract. Like, it just didn't make sense. So to see like all these reports, like it came out like, and I don't know if it started with like like somebody said something and then it was misinterpreted and ran with, and then all of a sudden every news outlet was putting out that Brandon Aiyuk was going to practice yesterday.
Mm-hmm. I know how that one started.
We then heard from John and Kyle, and they were asked, and I've noticed a little pattern here that leading up in the last, couple week and a half or 2 weeks or so, every time Kyle's been asked, about Brandon Aiyuk, he'll, because up until this point, it was he had back, like something with his back soreness or back tightness or, some BS that we all knew was BS. But they had to say something, right? So, but leading up in like the last week and a half or so, it's, oh, he's healthy. He's getting healthy. That's what, when they were asked why he traveled with them to the Raiders game. Well, he's healthy and he's expected to be, with the team, with team activities, yada, yada. So when Kyle was asked about it yesterday, Kyle's saying, oh, well, he's been cleared by team doctors, so we're expecting him on that field. Well, obviously we know Brandon Aiyuk wasn't on the field. John Lynch was asked about it, and I thought it was funny because we'll get into the Trent Williams thing, but he talked so glowingly and went on and on about how great Trent Williams is and all this, but Brandon Aiyuk, not the same type of tone whatsoever. So kind of talk to me where we're at with the BA thing. You said how this whole craziness yesterday got started. I saw you posting right away. That's not what was said. And obviously we know that's not what was said. So let us know what happened, Steph.
Yeah, I got to set the record straight on this one because Mike Garofalo was on NFL Network. And by the way, he put this video out himself on his Twitter in the wee hours of the morning. Like it was like 7 a.m. or something like that. And no one reacted to the video. Why? Because the video wasn't very groundbreaking. Like the only thing he was saying is like the standoff still continues between Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers. The 49ers expect him to be there, or that wasn't even the word he used, but to me, what it sounded like was the 49ers expect him to be there or hope that he'll be there because it is their first practice preparing for week 1. So it's kind of like this soft deadline. And then he left it up to this, like, we'll wait and see what happens. It wasn't any kind of report that Brandon Aiyuk was going to practice. Greg Papa, however, took it as that and took it as a report that the 49ers expect him to practice, and he is going to practice. He was going to practice that day, which was yesterday, Wednesday. That unfortunately did not happen. It could have happened, but not because of the Mike Garofalo report. Like it wasn't a report, like I said. It was another update of nothing. Like, and so people ran with it once they caught wind of Greg Papa saying it, because even CanBR on Twitter like posted the literal clip of Papa saying that the 49ers, Brandon Aiyuk could practice today, all this stuff. And then it kind of became a little wishy-washy and people started saying like he could practice today. Well, no shit. He could practice every day. Like I could take a nap later. It like who really knows, like anything could happen, but that's not a report, is it? So that for some reason that really ticked me off because I thought it was pretty irresponsible for Papa to say that when clearly like that's not what was said at all, and CanBR to then like reshare it like it was some kind of report, and then you see people like getting excited, oh, he's gonna practice. okay, he didn't practice. He still did not practice today. So the standoff does very much continue with these two.
What did you think about when they were asked, well, what if he doesn't practice? And they're like, well, we'll figure that we'll get to that, or we'll, whatever, when the time comes. So what do you think that means? Like, where do you think we're at in this right now?
I think we're at the point where the 49ers are fed up and they're like, put up or shut up. Like, do something. And we're not going to play nice anymore, because to this point, you talked about it, the 49ers and Brandon Aiyuk were in this, I guess, mutual understanding that he had a back injury. And so he wasn't getting fined. And now it's like he's been cleared. No more Mr. Nice Guy. You're going to start getting fined because now we could. And so I think it's the 49ers way of trying to spur action, and Brandon Aiyuk not showing up is his way of saying, I don't have to do anything. Let's see what you do in response to that. So it's been this back and forth of the other one trying to see how far the other one wants to take it. It's this game of chicken. So yeah, it seems like it's gonna continue a lot longer.
So I mean, we obviously know with the new, CBA and all this, he can't hold out the entire season, or else we're just right back in the same situation, come this time next season. So like, when is enough? Do the 49ers go back to one of these offers? Do they just say, okay, we're sick of this shit, we're going back to the offer the Steelers had for us, and we're just going to take it? Like, even though it's not what we think we deserve or what he's worth, like, is there just a point where they're just like, screw it, this is what we're doing, we're just going to do this, like, or are you going to let him hold out until, the beginning of December, whenever the time is, like the cutoff where, he has to start playing again? Like, when is enough when both sides are just like, okay, we're sick of this shit? Like, he could have been traded from, reports, obviously we don't know for sure, but like to the Browns for a good package on the 49ers side, but yet we're coming to the point where he's like, oh no, I'm not going to sign a deal with them. Like, well, like, when is enough? They're offering you a lot of freaking money. So at one point, like last week or 2 weeks ago, remember it was reported, oh, they're so close to Brandon Aiyuk signing, there's just one little thing that's holding them up. Well, what happened to that one little thing that still hasn't been fixed? Like, or that was all bullshit, or it's 500 little things. Like, what's the freaking deal? Like, I'm not understanding what still is the fucking issue here.
I don't think anyone really knows the specifics. I think we could speculate. Like, I know it was Ari of My Sports Update that was saying like the 49ers latest deal was a little under 30 million is what he said. If that is true, and that's a big if, right? But if that's on the table, and Brandon Aiyuk still didn't take that, I would have to imagine that the holdup would be with something else, maybe the guarantees. That's the only thing I can think of. But John Lynch saying at some point you have to play, to me, tells me, and I think it in a way indirectly telling Brandon Aiyuk, we're ready for you to take this into the season. Like, but at some point, we know you do have to pay. We don't have to increase our offer, but you do either have to pay or accept our offer, or accept one of these trades. Like, it's on you. So I think that's pretty much what the message was there. And oh, by the way, you're going to be getting fined too. So hurry up. You better hurry up and make your decision what you want to do. That's pretty much where we're at. And I mean, I think we've been saying this whole time that like deadline spur action, and we're getting really close to that week 1 deadline. So I think someone's going to have to blink first.
I can't believe that. I just can't believe we're still dealing with this shit. Like, and now we watched CeeDee Lamb get paid this past week, like get the freaking bag. Like, I thought for sure this Brandon Aiyuk situation would be done over with before. Like, you had that freaking old man in Dallas coming out and saying like, oh, like, we don't care. We get it done when we're getting done. Like, And yet they still managed to get the shit done before.
I know, right? That's crazy. It's crazy.
Tell me, we're rolling. So we watched now the 53 come out, the practice squad. Let's, say everything stays how it is, as the 53 set, how it looks when we're going into week 1. Are you comfortable playing the Jets with this wide receiver group that you saw through training camp and the preseason?
The wide receiver group, I think they can get away with in that game. The offensive line without Trent Williams, I don't think they could. So I think for week 1, at least, the Trent Williams should be the bigger priority than Brandon Aiyuk, personally.
Yeah. And moving to Trent Williams, obviously, like I said, John Lynch gets up there, starts reminiscing back to the phone call to get Trent Williams and everything he's done and meant to us since, we got him. Then Kyle has to say, that he's feeling pretty good about it, because when two sides want to get a deal done, they usually get a deal done. So I don't know if that was like a little shot at Brandon while, but it seems to me, and I've always thought, I'm still surprised Trent Williams isn't done yet. Now, we don't know what all goes into play there, right? Like if there's other things like we've talked about, he didn't want to be in training camp, this, that, so many different things have been thrown out there now. Who knows what the really truth is? But it just seems like by the way they were getting up there and talking about it, I feel a lot more comfortable that a deal will get done with Trent than I do with the situation with BA. Like, you guys know I've tried to stay positive as could be with the whole BA situation, but I'm to the point where now, I think he gets traded. And I hate to say that, and it kills me to say that.
But I still think anything can happen.
I think they're fed up. Well, of course, me too. But yeah, I want him to get signed with us, but I just think it's leaning more from the way they got up there and talked. Now it could just be like, we're going to show them enough's enough, and we're going to get up here and play tough in this press conference. Who knows? But by the way they sounded talking about the two parties, and that's all I can go off of, they sounded like things are a lot better off with Trent Williams at this point than they are with Brandon Aiyuk.
Yeah, it definitely still sounded more optimistic when it came to Trent. And then there's a lot of hostility, or maybe even low-key passive aggressiveness with the whole Brandon Aiyuk thing. John Lynch was asked, I think it was Grant that asked, have you had good communication with Brandon Aiyuk and his reps? And he said, we've had communication. Yo, that's not good. And he kind of even smiled after, you know what I mean. It's just is not encouraging. It's been at some point, I have to wonder at what point the 49ers get so fed up that they even take an offer that they had off the table for Aiyuk. If they get to that point, I just know they're fed up with the situation. I don't know if it's gotten that far, but I know they seem pretty done.
Disgusting. Let's move on to some better news. Let me share something here before I go cry myself to sleep in the corner. Can't believe it. All right. Set. Real quick. Turn down the sound so we don't get in trouble. All right. We had this lovely back at practice today. Let's take a look.
This is good for the vibes right here. I needed
Throw up
that.
those T's, baby. We got Hufanga back on the field. Another one back on the field today that was great to see as well. Is Leonard Floyd. Looks like we dodged a bullet there. Kind of scary. And it looked like things were pretty good when he was back out on the field during the end of the game, smiling and talking to Shanahan, but you never really know till the tests come back. But to see him returned and back out there, that's an awesome thing. Do you think the 49ers said they don't have to make a decision on Hufanga till next week to know if he'll be back or not? Obviously, we can only go by the little clips that we've seen. But I looked, and Hufanga tore his ACL on November 19th, obviously 2023. Today, August 29th. So pretty good timing, he seems like he's right on, maybe even ahead of schedule. Some people don't even come back till a year out, and he didn't look like, like he's out there. That was just not obviously a fast ass run, right? But it didn't look like his ACL's bothering him when he, from what I'm no doctor, ACL specialist, right? But like to just be out there running like that, you would think if it was still bothering him, is be like a little something, right? But he looks like normal. He looks like normal Hufanga out there. If I were to just look at the video and not know any better, right? Do you think we see Hufanga back for week 1?
I don't. Obviously, like, the progress that he's making is awesome. And I was talking to Desi about this yesterday. She's a doctor, so like she does know a little bit more than you and I. And she's obviously encouraged as well by him being out there and ramping up on where he's out in his rehab. But she just thinks it's too short of a time frame to go from where he's at right now, which is just starting like football movements, getting back into practice, to full contact in a little over a week, right? So I don't expect him to be out there for week 1. And just another reason to like solidify that is that Tracy Walker the third, the safety they signed, former Lions player that they signed to their practice squad, the report was that he signed with the 49ers with the knowing that he would be elevated for week 1. That probably tells you that Hufanga is not going to be active for that game. But in any case, I do think that within the first 4 weeks of the season, obviously not the first, so maybe like between 2 and 4, I think there's a chance that, we see him back.
Yeah, I agree. I think, if we would have seen him maybe activated or out there doing things, maybe just like at the middle of training camp, the fact that like we're literally in the week that they're preparing for the Jets and now we're seeing him out there, like, but still great to see him on the field. Definitely encouraged by him being out there, and it's encouraging too that they have him just starting the season off on the 53, not off on any list. Like they could have had him on, whatever, and had him out till at least week 4. But obviously they think, he has a chance of returning before week 4. So that's a good thing. Let's talk a little bit about these rosters that they put together. Any surprises from you looking at the starting squad? Anybody you saw make the roster that you didn't think would? Obviously, since the first initial 53 came out, a few moves have been made, kind of ones that we were already expecting. Feliciano and Ambry both went to the IR. They signed O-line Ben Barch, tight end Eric Sauberts, and cornerback Rock Ya-Sin to the 53. And they waived D-line Sam, I don't know you. And then they completed the practice squad today and put the last 2 pieces on there. So just looking at the starting squad, though, any surprise, like I said, that made it, guys you thought should have made it that didn't? How you feeling about the 53?
Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell to me was a big surprise. Ambry Thomas was too, but I think like obviously he went to IR, so like that's whatever.
Yeah.
But Ronnie Bell was a little surprised by. In hindsight, I get it because like I think their intention is to keep an extra wide receiver until they know what's going to happen with Brandon Aiyuk. That makes sense because basically Brandon Aiyuk he's on the roster, but he's not here. Like he's not with the team right now. So that ensures that they have 7 active guys, right? So that makes sense, and it wouldn't surprise me if at some point in the season he is cut and then they try to get him on the practice squad, or maybe they didn't think he'd make it to the practice squad, right? Obviously the Michigan connection makes a lot of sense for the Chargers to probably add him on to their roster. They're pretty short on wide receivers as well, but yeah, that one is a bit of a surprise, although now I do kind of get it. I'm trying to think. I mean, yeah, I think those were the biggest surprises. And then also like keeping just 2 tight ends, although that has also kind of, improved itself with them bringing back Eric Sauber. So now they have the 3 guys on there, which is to me is fine.
Yeah. Were you surprised to see all the young tight ends, like none of them make it?
I was a little surprised on Brandon Willis just because I think like it looked like he had a lot of involvement, right, in the preseason. But I think like obviously now you can look at that and be like, okay, they just wanted to give him every opportunity. They wanted to see what they had in him so they can be sure whether or not he's in or out. Ultimately, I think we kind of saw his struggles too, right? Like he wasn't consistent. That's one of the things that I mentioned in camp as well, that Brandon Willis just wasn't consistent. He did struggle with blocking. We saw that in one of the preseason games as well a couple times. So obviously that is what hurt him, but he's on the practice squad. So obviously he did enough for the 49ers to be interested in something that he does and wanting to develop him. Cam Latu, obviously not so much, which that one did not surprise me at all.
Yeah. Shout out Gammon says, Kenny, 49ers and 49er media want to know if it's time that we have someone else handle our contract negotiations. And also, why is Jed York so damn cheap?
Is he asking Kenny and 49er media or us? I'll answer anyway, Gammon. And thank you for the donation. I do think that the 49ers process is obviously had its run. Like I think it's run its course. It's definitely something that I think we as fans are all tired of. And I think it seems like the players don't seem to take a great liking to it either. And maybe even some of these agents, so it's just rubbing people the wrong way. And I don't blame them for it. There's no benefit to waiting this long for these deals to get done. None. And if there is, like, please enlighten me, because I think I could show you more reasons why it's more of a disservice to the player, the team, why it goes on this long. So yeah, I think I'd be open. I think fans would love to see maybe someone else handle the contract negotiations, assuming that I think we're all in agreement that it's Parag, right? Who's the main guy that does them. Here's what I'll say. I think he's really good at doing the deals for like guys who are not at the top of their position, or like who are not like top 5, like top 10 players. He can get a bargain like for the 49ers, which I think we've seen. And I think like, as fans of the team, like we do appreciate like, wow, like such a steal. Parag does it again. But like when it's come to these like mega deals, the 49ers end up paying, I think, what the player wanted to begin with. because they like there's not much like the player has more left. Like Nick Bosa last off season, for example, like he had all the leverage there. There's nothing the 49ers could do to, I think, pay him any less, to be honest with you. And so that's when this like hardball negotiation tactic, I don't think works for guys like that, you know, and it's tired. So yeah, I'd like to see that, but it would not surprise me, to your second part of the question here, Gammon. It wouldn't surprise me if Jed York is obviously the guy who wants to keep Parag in these negotiations because he wants to make sure that this team is paying the least amount possible and do whatever you can to make that happen, right? But I think, we just feel like it's run its course.
Yeah. And remember, Parag's been around before Shanahan and John Lynch. He's been there with Jed York. That's been Jed York's money guy. So yeah, like it's about time, I think. And yeah, like you said, Jed York wants to keep him around because it's Jed York's business, right? Like he wants to be getting the best deal and all this shit. But like from a football player, like all that side, something needs to be done because shit's like crazy. It's crazy. Gammon, shout out to you again. Appreciate you. Says everyone talks about Brock's contract next year. What will this team be without Huff, Ward, Demo? We could be losing 75% of our secondary. Yeah.
And that, like, to be honest, like that, I think that's what the 49ers are already thinking of. Like they've been thinking about this like for some time. And they're very like, instead of being short-sighted, they're very long-sighted. So they're always like thinking about the next few years and the implications of the deal they do now, how it affects that. So I think that's why they've been so freaking tough on the Brandon Aiyuk situation and their stance on like, this is what we are willing to pay you and not a cent more kind of thing. And I have to guess that's part of the reason why the Trent thing has taken so long too, because it's like on paper, it's like, what are we missing here? Like Trent's the best at his position. He doesn't have any guarantees. He wants guarantees. Just give him what he's asking for. Like what are we missing? So like obviously I think it's the other factors of all this and all the other deals that they have to make. I do think they really want to keep Diamador Lenore. I saw a report. I don't remember where this was from, but someone said that the 49ers did. It might have been from Demo. I don't remember. If someone remembers where it was from, I have to look it up. But I remember seeing that like the 49ers did try to engage it to Lenore like before the season started to see like talk about negotiations already. And it just seems like Demo wants to bet on himself this year. He wants to wait till next year. You can't blame him. I think he's going to have a phenomenal season. So that, but to the point of the 49ers are thinking ahead and they want to get some of these deals out of the way so that the picture becomes a little bit more clear. Right now it's really muddy because there's so many question marks of who you're going to keep going forward. And yeah, it gets really tough. The secondary thing, obviously a huge deal. I think they let Mooney Ward walk. I think that's part of the Renardo Green pick, keeping Darrell Luter as well and drafting him the year prior. I think having Renardo Green learn both inside and out is like insurance in case they can't afford to keep Demo. Like I don't know. Obviously, Malik Mustafa is insurance for if they don't bring Hufanga back. Although with his injury, like if he's not the same guy, like they can get him on a bargain. So we'll see how that turns out. There's so many questions of this roster in the next couple years, and it's going to be an entirely different team, which is why we've been saying like 2024, this is the last window. And it almost feels like with the fact that some of these deals are taking so long, like Aiyuk and Trent, it's like, I wonder if they're weighing like whether to just call it for this season and be like, maybe this isn't our final window. Like, maybe that was last year. And let's just start looking towards rebuilding. Or not rebuilding, but like retooling or, whatever people call it these days.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's hard. And that's, like at the same time, you're obviously, we know what Trent Williams is, and obviously, right, the best left tackle in football. But at the same time, you have to think his age. He's already been talking about retirement in the past. The question came up to John Lynch yesterday if he's been threatening retirement throughout this, negotiations here. John Lynch wouldn't answer. It's like, so what if he does get a raise and gets guaranteed money and either decides at the end of the season he wants to retire, or God forbid something happens and he needs to retire, and you just paid him all this money that now stops you from signing the, a Diamador Lenore next year, so it's like, at what point is Aiyuk, Trent Williams, and Brock Purdy, right? Those three contracts, is it worth paying only those three guys and losing 10 other guys, off your roster? It's like, that's why, like us fans, we can sit here and talk shit about the 49ers front office, and it's so easy for us to do, right? It's not our money. We don't, I'm always like, I don't care. Pay them as much as they want because it's not my money. Well, the same thing comes, both sides of it. Like, it's not my money. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, don't do this, pay them this, don't pay them that. And then next year, when you don't do the right thing, I'm going to sit here and bitch at you about that too, right? Like, so there's no winning, like they can't do no perfect. You can't pay everybody. Some guys are going to have to go. So, and that's why the 49ers, John Lynch, Parag, whoever, Jed, whoever else is involved, that's why they get to pay the money to make these damn decisions, because they're hard decisions. It's hard to put together a team that's able to always compete and stay under this salary cap that now football has, especially when you have such high-end talent. Like, we have a lot of good guys on this roster that want that and deserve to be paid. Like, we can't expect every guy's going to sit here and, I'm going to give you guys a hometown discount. Like, why? Like, they should get their money. Like, I'm never going to be mad. There was once a time when, I was pissed because, players were taking more money to go play somewhere else. But as I got older and learned, it's like, no, I'm not going to be mad at these guys. Like, they need to do what's best for them. Like, you have to take care of yourself, your family, because these teams, they don't give a shit. Like, they'll so quickly, as much as they loved you and, did so much for you, and you thought this team was everything for you, they're going to be that to the next guy, when you're out the freaking door. So it's like, I don't know. That's why I'm just at the point right now where whatever, either way, like, you guys know Brandon Aiyuk is my favorite player, and I would hate to see him play somewhere else, but I'm at the point where just trade him and do what you got to do, or just pay him and do what you got to do. Just get it done, because now week 1 is right around the corner and we're still dealing with this shit. Like, normally, last season we're dealing with it with one of our starters. Now 2 of our freaking starters, and we're dealing with this shit. It's like we're us as fans, as content creators, as normal people are frustrated.
Wait.
Up.
Wait. Brandon Aiyuk just got extended.
Shut up.
4-year, 120 million contract extension, 76 million guarantees.
You better check, make sure it's the real page.
No, I got tweet notifications on for the real deal.
Let's go!
Wow. Shit.
Yes. So
done.
X all that I just said. Welcome back. We love you here.
Well, no, I mean, what you were saying was valid though, because what you were saying is like, get it done and let's move on, do what you got to do. Like, now the picture becomes a little bit clear. Like, Aiyuk is here, for the next 5 years, because it's a 4-year extension, and Yeah, like,
and hopefully now that this big part thing, because we've always said the Brandon Aiyuk thing was harder than the Trent Williams. Trent Williams just wants some money, right? You're not having to add on all these years, make a whole new contract, all this shit like you're having to do for Brandon Aiyuk. So now that they got, okay, we got this money, we know what went to Brandon Aiyuk, yada yada. Now I think this Trent Williams thing hopefully goes fast.
Yeah,
as long as Trent Williams is willing and like wants to get his ass in here, I don't think there should be a holdup.
It needs to be the next domino to fall, and I'm hoping like now that they've gotten this part done, which was the big hurdle, I hope they can be all hands on deck for Trent Williams.
Oh my god.
This is crazy.
Right now, I'm setting a Brandon Aiyuk giveaway right now.
What?
Hashtag BA. Get in there. Hashtag BA. Get in the giveaway.
Let's do it.
Hashtag BA. Get in there. I've been having this here waiting. Let me turn on the light now since I don't have to be crying in the dark anymore. Come to light. I have awoken.
I know. Suddenly we're like
in a Brandon Aiyuk
mood.
Patch rookie card.
Let's go.
Get it in there. Hashtag BA. What's up, Pac-Man? Hashtag BA. Get in there. We paid our guy. See, I was even wearing a Debo shirt today, guys, because I had come to terms with this had to be my new guy. But we're back.
We all the way back.
Oh my god. My heart.
Are you gonna do the giveaway right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Hashtag BA. I'm just giving them a minute to get in there. Then I'm gonna draw it. Hashtag BA. So thoughts, Steph. What are the numbers? Tell us again.
So it's a 4-year deal worth up to where it says worth 120 million. Some one of the other NFL insiders said that it's a front-loaded deal, which usually most of the 49ers deals, are backloaded. So this is interesting. You have to wonder if this is something that Brandon Aiyuk requested. So yeah,
maybe that was the one holdup.
And we 76 million in guarantees is what he got.
So 4 years, 120 is 30 a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
And CD got what?
CD got didn't you get 32 and a half or something?
Yeah, too much. Woo! Let me see what else I got here. I've been holding all my BA stuff to the side, waiting, patiently waiting. I was either going to have to throw it in the trash or waiting to throw it in the trash or give it away. Hashtag it's BA. Done. Get in there.
So, yeah, I was going to say, what do you think made this get done? Like, we're talking about the deadline, right? So obviously the fact that we're so close to week 1, obviously the fact that Brandon Aiyuk did not report yesterday was a huge deal to the team. Was this the 49ers giving in and saying, fine, we'll pay you what you want? Or was this Brandon Aiyuk saying okay, fine, I'm not trying to get fined anymore, let me accept this deal?
Brandon Aiyuk was
maybe a little of both. I don't know.
It worked. See? Me and BA, we're here so we don't get fined. We're back. I don't know. Well, I mean, if that's true that it's 30 million and reports were, remember that it had first, when it started coming out, the 49ers hadn't been on no movement since May or whatever the hell, and they were at 26 million. So if that was true reporting, they definitely came up closer anyways to what BA was asking for. We don't know exactly what he was asking for, right? But 30 million is a whole hell of a lot better than 26.
Oh yeah. And like literally what we were just talking about, like there's little incentive for the 49ers to wait to get these
Every
deals
time.
done.
This is what
They
happens.
end up paying the player what they wanted.
Every time.
Sorry, Jed.
Oh my god, I'm so happy now. Hopefully, because you know what I'm gonna really be back up here bitching about, let me just tell you, is if now we see BA got paid and has a shit year because once again, all this contract negotiation, you know, like
is very much a possibility. And let's talk about that, like while we're here. Like we might as well, right? Because this news just broke as we were live. We might as well like just put everything else aside for this.
Oh, my heart's beating.
That's the risk, right? And that to me was another big reason to get it done sooner. Because like, yes, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch have said like, we know he's been working out. He's in shape, all these things. We trust that. But like again, you see that players over and over again have said that not being in the building earlier is kind of what led to them not having like the greatest year or not feeling the best, right? Like Nick Bosa still played well, you know, last year, but it still wasn't up to like his own standards, right? And Brandon Aiyuk is coming off his best season, you know? And so I have a hard time thinking like he's going to be able to duplicate that in 2024, you know? Obviously, this is huge. This is a big deal. I think him just being out there is a boost to the team, is a boost to the offense. He is Brock Purdy's number one target as far as like the chemistry that they have. But yeah, I mean, that's always a question. And not just that, like there's always that injury risk too, because like your body needs to ramp up to actual like football hits. And he didn't play in any preseason games, and you know, like football movements and things like that. So that's a risk. I do hope that the 49ers take it slow with easing him back in, and you know, we'll see. We'll see what he's ready for, I guess.
Yeah. I think, you know, talking about, obviously we don't have time to ease him back in too slow, right? But not throwing him out there week one and putting him on his full workload that he's used to having. The good thing is that now, at least, you know, I feel a lot better going into week one and having Brandon Aiyuk for, let's say if it's even 15 plays, or, you know, I don't know what their normal amount of plays is, so I'm just throwing out a number. But let's say half of the number of plays that we're used to getting from him. I feel a lot better going into week one having that with the wide receivers that we also now have on the squad than, you know, going into week one having no BA and not knowing what, you know, the rest of the squad's going to give us. So week one, I still think, sorry, Brandon, I still think we beat the Jets. Moving forward into the season, I'm feeling a hell of a lot better than how I was looking at this season without Brandon Aiyuk. And yeah, we could say Brandon Ayuk's I don't care if he's the 10th option. He's still doing so much for this team that like we had no answer to replace him. We were literally looking at 4 or 5 guys to replace one guy. Like, well, if we take the blocking from this guy and the little bit of the catching this guy can do, plus the speed of this guy, plus the brains of this guy, we can turn it into Brandon Aiyuk. You know, it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. So, you know, Brandon Aiyuk went through so much on this team. Remember, the freaking drafted it in the rookie, in the freaking, you know, into this team, and then gets all these injuries to our wide receivers. He gets thrown out there his rookie season to do all this shit for us. And then all of a sudden, in his second year in the league, it's like, where's Brandon Aiyuk? Oh, he's in the doghouse. We don't know what the hell happened. And so he goes through all that, works his way out of there, and, blocks like so much for us as a wide receiver that, he put the work in, the 49ers put the work in, Kyle put the work in to, get him to what he is now. And I hated to even think that some other team was going to get the fruits of all that labor. And now, no, our guy's staying home. He got the bag he deserves. We back. We're back, baby. Let him know.
Back. We all the way back. And so, yeah, this obviously with the new 30 million APY, that puts Brandon Aiyuk at the same APY as Tyreek Hill, just under Amon-Ra St. Brown, and obviously ahead of Jalen Waddle. So he's now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's now, I guess, tied for 5th with Tyreek Hill in APY. And then, yeah, I mean, this is huge for him. You got to be happy for him. Like I said, like I know it was very frustrating, but he stuck to his guns this whole time. And like I said, 49ers ended up caving anyway. So they played it perfectly, just like, I think Nick Bosa and his representation did last year as well. And here's another thing. I think it just shows that like teams know this now, that they can just hold out, they can play hardball too, and they can get what they want out of the deal. So it wouldn't shock me if other players do within the 49ers who are waiting for a deal, play hardball, just like Nick Bosa, just like Debo was kind of a hold in, and then also Brandon Aiyuk, because it's proven to get you paid. So
yep. Hashtag BA, last call, about to draw. We're going to draw for this Brandon Aiyuk rookie patch card. You can enter from both YouTube channels. Unfortunately, if you're watching from Twitter, X, I can't see. It does not register your entries from over there. I can see there's a shit ton of you watching from over there. We appreciate you all so much. But unfortunately, if you want to enter the giveaway, you guys have to come over here to YouTube and enter. Those that are watching on YouTube, we appreciate you all. Hashtag BA. Get in there. Last call. Yep, Ben, we got him.
Got him.
So is this Pretty Ricky the smoke? Does that
Seems
mean
like
Pretty
he
Ricky
something.
He was getting ready for the smoke, huh?
Seems like he knew something.
Rob D said, and my battery was at 49% when it was announced. I deserve all the credit. Hashtag BA. Let's draw this giveaway. Good luck, everybody. Again, this is for this Brandon Aiyuk rookie card patch. Media. Congrats, 49er
Nice.
Media. Congrats. I'll definitely, those that, if you're following me on X, Twitter, as soon as I get done with the show, I'm definitely going to get a Brandon Aiyuk giveaway ready and posted. So make sure you keep an eye out and get ready for that. But yeah, Steph, any closing thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I mean, obviously this is this is great news. My closing thoughts is, now let's get Trent done and we back, and we could get our focus onto Jets and beating them in week 1 and getting the, this monkey off our back. Let's get back to it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I feel so relieved. Like, you guys know how much it took for me to just a little while ago sit on the show, then come to the terms. Like, I had to be coming to the terms with myself that Brandon Aiyuk, it could be possibility that he was gone. And to have to play out those emotions right now, and then to just be able to throw those right out the freaking window. Oh, I'm so happy. 76 guaranteed. That's what Steve was saying. I don't know if that was reported already. Yeah, I mean, we'll still see, how the terms, like you said, if it, comes out that it's front loaded and what all that ends up being. But our guy's paid. That's all I care. He's not going to be playing for the ugly Steelers. I hope he takes that Pittsburgh hat and freaking burns that nasty, stanky ass hat
into the ocean.
Freaking shit ass hat, and all those Pittsburgh fans that have been harassing us for the last how many months.
They can go. They can go. But Brian, before we go, just one more small detail on the contract that's coming out, because the details are trickling in here. Ian Rappaport said Brandon Aiyuk will receive $47 million between now and April 1st, 2025. So you talk about front loaded. That's really front loaded. I'm assuming that $47 million is part of, or some of it has to be part of his guarantees. Yeah. Or no?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a lot of money, though. That's a lot of money. So, but they got it done.
Alberto, yeah, thanks for reminding me. There's still 2 spots available in the free fantasy league. There will be prizes for 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. It's a 12-man league. It's on NFL Fantasy Draft. So let me know if you want in. Like I said, there's only 2 spots, and then it's filled. We're drafting this weekend. So if you're on Twitter, X, send me a DM. Let me know you want in, and I'll send you the info. So just 2 more spots. We need to fill them. Get in there. All right, Steph. I'm happy. I can go celebrate. I can go feel better now with my life.
Exactly.
I'm glad I showed up for the show. Steph, she hasn't been wanting to pay me what I'm worth. And, now that BA got paid, I'm going to be expecting a money bag being thrown my way as well. So I need it all guaranteed, though, because I have a lot of injury concerns. Snoopy said, hold up. What? Trent?
No guarantees on this deal.
Do we got Trent? No, don't be trying to. I swear I thought you were lying, Steph, because, people be trying to screw with my emotions. I can't believe nobody these days when it comes to Aiyuk's deal. So
finally, I can turn my notifications off for some of these people, because they've been kind of useless actually for much of this off season.
Yeah, Gammon, see? Steph's cheap like Jed York.
Come on.
All right. Chats, we appreciate you all. Thank you guys as always. Make sure you guys are subscribed to both channels, Steph 49K and Faithfully in Vegas on YouTube. Those that watch on YouTube, keep the chat going. We appreciate y'all so much. Those watching on Twitter, X, much love to y'all. We're out of here. We'll see you guys next week. 2 Goat Show, same time, same place, 3 o'clock every Thursday. Take care, Faithful. Peace out.
Peace.
You got that money?